You are now listening to Sir Inks The Experience Podcast, where we talk about anything and everything kink. Now, this podcast is only catered to those that are 18 and above and may not be suitable for work, or as we like to say, NSF. But remember, you can always listen to us during your private time. Hello, kinky and kink-curious folk out there. My name is Sir Ink. What up? I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you for tuning into another podcast. And my topic on this one today is controlling your environment. If you don't control your environment, you can't dominate your environment. Let me go back. I'm sorry. If you do not set the table, if you don't set the tone, you can't dominate the situation. And there always has to be a level of control in different situations. And I think just if you turn on TV and see all the stuff that's going on in the celebrity world and just in life, I think it's more imperative now to be around people that you can trust, people that have shared interest, and know that a lot of it's personal. And when you're in an environment or you've created an environment like a party or something like that, and you're going to invite people that go outside of your inner circle, understand that you need to be a different way when you're in that environment. You have to be. You have to have your mask on, and you have to be in a way that doesn't leave you open, not just for criticism, because you can't escape criticism, but leave you open for someone to be able to control the narrative of your life. And this is why controlling your environment is very important. It's why when I travel, I like to control the environment that we're in. Are we going to be in a hotel that's secure, that has its own security and things of that nature, or are we going to be in an Airbnb? Okay, we're going to do Airbnb. Are we in a good environment? Like, are we going to be in a good neighborhood? Or, who are we going to be around? Who's going to be our tour guide? Who's going to, cook? Or, all these things is very important to me, because I like to make sure that random things do not happen with people within the circle. So, for example, we already know everybody in the circle, their behavior, how we are when we're sober, how we are when we're a little intoxicated, how we are if we're smoking cigars or someone smoking weed. We know how each other are, and we know how to reel each other in, right? And we know how we're going to react if we're in a situation where we're threatened or we're not threatened, or you know how you can trust people in these situations. But when you have an outsider, even one person that's an outsider in, you may not be able to predict how that person's going to be. Does that person get in an argument when they're drinking and throw a drink on somebody, or spit on someone, or cry racism, or whatever the case may be? Like, you don't know. You don't know what their politics are. Do they even know not to talk politics when we're on vacation? Do they know how to just be around people without being an anarchist, without being, against the group, or, just an obstructionist? And so it's important to control your environment. And part of controlling your environment is selecting the right people to be in the environment. We already know there's certain privacy rules that go on inside the circle, between the circle. Because in today's world, controlling your public image is 100% important. Now, for those of you that no one knows, like, you work in a job that's not public, maybe you work in an office, in a cubicle, or you have your own office, and, your life is really on the low. You don't have to worry about certain things. But for those that work for the government, they know what I'm talking about. Can't have a bunch of foolishness going on around you. You got to deal with security clearances and things of that nature. You can't be around a bunch of clowns. That's going to be bad for you. And my life is lived, well, my work life is in public. I deal with the public. And some aspect of my personal life is in public, but not all of me. And when I travel, no matter who I travel with, I like to know that my company is right and that the environment that we're going to is right and that we're going to be secure in it. I need to know the people that we're relying on outside of our circle are on point and trustworthy. But even that trust comes within a certain, it goes just a certain way. That trust even goes a certain way. At this point, I just expect that you're going to do the job that I pay you to do. Then that way, if it's free, people tend to be a little lax. They don't make you a priority. I'm paying you to do this. That goes outside the circle is those other things. Tour guides, who we renting a boat from, or are we taking a helicopter ride, or, different activities like that. But outside of that, it's just the main circle. And we don't like randomness in there. If you're going to be around us, you have to be like us. Can't be too turned up. Can't be drawing unnecessary attention. We can have a good time and party. That's good attention, right? We're having a good time. Drinks is flowing and we're dancing. Everything's good. That's a good time. But, you're not getting a drink on time and screaming racism or, I'm a woman and or I'm a man and bartender this or whatever the case may be. We don't need all that. If it's real, it needs to be real. But if it's real, I know when I look at that person, I know, okay, I vouch for that. But if you from outside the circle, I really don't know if any of the stuff that you claiming is being done or being said is actually real. If I'm not there in the moment to see it. And so it's very important as a dominant man to control your environment, especially when you're doing sessions. We talked about that. If you're having a fire, if you're doing a session that deals with fire, you have to have your fire retardant blanket. You have to have your water. You have to make sure that you're in a space where if something happens, everything can be contained. Nothing is going to get out of control. Especially when you're dealing with fire, things can get out of control. So, and the responsibility even going into that, right? Controlling the environment is I don't need to be drinking liquor before I start playing with fire. Some stuff sounds simple, but in the moment, sometimes you might have a few drinks and you might be feeling like, a little more courageous because that's what liquor does. It makes you a little bit more open and courageous. So maybe you're like, oh, let's get the fire sticks out. And, and then in that moment of excitement and wanting to get to the part of playing, you might have forgot certain steps along the way that would thwart anything going wrong. And then you find yourself there like, oh man, I got everything set up. I don't have a lighter. Or you don't have a blanket, or it might not be anything bad. It's just a lot of things that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for you is like 1, 3, 4, 7, 9, And so we have to understand how important controlling your environment is in every way. In every way. I worked for other businesses when I was younger, and they had me working with these people that I just felt like were not on my level. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way, but they just weren't good people, and they didn't really, and they brought more harm to the environment than they did anything positive. But unfortunately, management and ownership really couldn't see that. Or they did see it, they just didn't care. As long as they were making money, they didn't care. And I get that. His responsibility as the owner is to make sure that these spaces is filled. But I just felt like, look, involve me in the hiring process. Oh, this would be much better. I could definitely bring in better talent. I could definitely weed through bad talent, obviously better than they could. But maybe I couldn't. Maybe it's just the game that we're in. A lot of people are just raggedy, and really only like 30% of the practitioners in this field of hair care are actually serious. But again, I got weary of the environment, went to my own place, and I've been very happy ever since. And I love being able to control the environment. I can control the music, what's on TV. I don't have to be subjugated to nonsense, or what I deem to be nonsense. And I do believe that a lot of people fill their heads with nonsense all day long. And it just nonsense lacks the ability of you to be able to learn something. For a thought to come to you on TV of something in the world, and it just opens your mind up to like, maybe I want to go there, or I didn't know that, and make you inspired to want to know more. And so when you're watching nonsense, TV is called paid programming. They tell you it's programming. And so we all like a little bit of TV, I'm not going to lie, but I still love reading books because I want to control my mind. I have to dominate my mind. I can't do that without knowledge, without books, without information. Can't watch enough reality shows. That's not doing anything for my life. It doesn't help me grow. But books have, and they have continued to add to my life. But at any rate, controlling your environment, everybody, is very important. No matter if you're dominant or not. If you're just a person that wants to be in a very harmonious situation, I didn't say perfect, I'm just saying harmonious, then you need to be around the people that you're harmonious with. You travel with them, hang with them, be close with them. But the other people that are disruptors, that have behavior that you can't predict, that, things can go to the left, you might want to, keep them on the outside, feed them with the long spoon, not the short one. You know what I'm talking about? But what do you think? Leave me a message, or please like and subscribe. And let's keep this conversation going. Controlling your environment is very, very, very important. You know how to find me, Sir INQ, on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And you can always email me at sirinq09@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Until next time, peace.